And Hunter Biden's legal team will reportedly meet with the Department of Justice lawyers this week. Fox News reporting that Hunter Biden could be facing 2 misdemeanor tax filing charges, a felony tax evasion charge, and a false statement charge over a gun purchase. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer joined me on Sunday Morning Futures yesterday, suggesting it's a lot more than that we should be focused on with Hunter Biden. He said there are at least 12 members of the Biden family who he believes have received money from foreign entities. Congressman Comer now zeroing in on what exactly President Biden and his family were being paid for. Why did they accept millions of dollars? Watch this.
There are 6 specific decisions that Joe Biden made either as vice president or president that are very concerning to us, that we believe could potentially lead back to payments that were made to these LLCs that were then laundered down to the Biden family members.
Joining me right now is North Carolina Congressman, member of the Veterans Affairs, Ways and Means and Administration Committees. He is also the GOP Doctors Caucus co-chairman, Greg Murphy. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much.
Good morning,
Got
Maria.
a couple of questions for you. I've got to get your take on this Biden drama and what happens with Hunter Biden. But let's start with the House Ways and Means Committee role that you have and this debt ceiling debate. Are you going to vote for this debt ceiling package? And do you believe Kevin McCarthy has the votes to pass it in the House?
I think we do this week. I think that McCarthy has been very forthright in what we need to do as far as raising the debt ceiling very, very slightly with the intention of promises that we're going to get the spending under control, really cut the spending, the wasteless spending we've seen over the last couple of years, and put in a pro-growth economy such that then in the future, we won't have to raise this debt ceiling again. That's the intention.
Yeah, but President Biden keeps, succumbing to the aggressive left. He's expected to launch his re-election bid tomorrow. A new NBC News poll finds a whopping 70% of Americans do not want him to run again in 2024. 48% said that Biden's age is a major factor in their decision. And then the Wall Street Journal editorial board writes this: the public understands what Mr. Biden apparently won't admit, that electing an octogenarian in obvious decline for another 4 years could be an historic mistake. Congressman, you're the co-chairman of the Doctors Caucus. What do you have to say about this?
Frankly, I think it's elder abuse. I think it's elder abuse because we're taking a person that they're using essentially as a puppet. Joe Biden was never, ever this far left in any of his previous policies, but he's essentially become a puppet and being told essentially what to do. He has to read off his cards, et cetera. I don't really think he believes as much as what he's putting into, but his handlers, everybody's around him who's telling him exactly what to say, love him because he just does what they say. Again, I think it's elder abuse. I think it's absolutely done terrible damage to this country. I personally think as an individual and as a president, he has done the most damage that any president in this country has ever done.
Well, and that's not even discussing the influence peddling in plain sight. Yeah. What is your take about the Biden investigation? We're expecting Biden lawyers, Hunter Biden's lawyers, to be meeting with the Department of Justice. They're talking about tax problems here. Is it much bigger than that? You heard what Congressman James Comer told me, that there are 6 decisions that he is probing right now. Why did Biden make these decisions in favor of China and other adversaries? And why did he accept money from China?
Yeah, it's very interesting, Maria, because I've spoken with Representative Comer about this, and it is very, very linear in the decisions that were made that the Biden administration did or Biden himself did, either as president or vice president, to invite influence peddlers into the White House, into the decision-making process. And then subsequently, as we've seen in the past, all of a sudden the money flows from the CCP to a ghost organization down to now, I think Representative Comer has identified 12 individuals in the Biden family who have received money from the Communist Party. If that isn't influence peddling, I'm not quite sure what it is. And we'll see with Hunter. Hunter should have been indicted. Yeah, he should have been indicted years ago. So,
well, we know that there are suspicious activity reports, and apparently there are many more than even Comer expected. They viewed them at the Treasury, and it shows outsized wires of money going to LLCs that then eventually make their way to Biden family members.
Yeah. You know, they used to bash on the Trump family for this, for that, which was all absolutely fabricated. You spoke about it a few minutes ago. But this is documented. This is absolutely documented. And the lengths to which Representative Comer has had to go to get this information, because it's been hidden. It's been kept out of view purposely by the Biden administration and the agencies that go with just not allowing the information. But as the information is coming out, it is a clear issue that they've been influence peddling.
Yeah. Let me switch gears, ask you about these hundreds of protesters in North Michigan over the weekend rallying after the Biden administration allowed a Chinese-backed company, Goshen, to build a new battery factory near Big Rapids. The Democrat-controlled Michigan State Senate granting Goshen $175 million in direct taxpayer funding to help build this facility. Congressman, these are the kinds of decisions that we question, given the amount of money the Biden family has accepted from communist China. Are we not, are we allowing China to buy up all this land, buy up more factories, and then America becomes that much more reliant on communist China?
Well, look at it. The Biden family received all these millions of dollars, and the Biden administration has basically taken our reliance on oil, which, you know, just happened by just pure the gasoline engine, to being reliant now on electric energy. But guess what? You know, the Arab nations, other than Iran, want to work cooperatively. China has made it very clear they want to create their world order. And the Biden administration has absolutely made us entirely beholden to them. Look, the plant in Goshen, it takes forever for American plants to get through, but what they do is they fast track this Chinese company. And if you look at how dependent we've become on Chinese solar, Chinese wind instruments, we're just pouring money into the country that wants to tear our country apart and our way of life apart. What goes with that? How can that not be the most disastrous decisions the president's ever made?
This is so disturbing, Congressman, and you know, it's hard to get yourself back after you've sold so much to communist China. So we'll be watching. It's very disturbing.